So, off the top, we're going to go ahead and get those rumors and just online frenzy craziness that happened this kind of past middle week regarding Star Wars. And we're first going to address the Twitter rumors as far as future projects go. And what I like to do with rumors is I like to play a little game called Fact or Fan Fiction. So, do we really believe this rumor could become true? If so, we'll say it's fact. If we really feel like it's a rumor that could be true, but we feel like it's a fan just trying to land a target and claim that, oh, I predicted this, we'll say that's fan fiction. Sound good?
Okay. I like it.
All right. First one that came out again, just out of the blue. According to Kevin Kiner, he is the Star Wars animation composer. Love his work. I mean, one of the Rebels soundtrack is honestly top tier Star Wars, in my opinion. He stated that the Bad Batch will have at least 14 episodes on Full of Sith podcast. Apparently, he was a guest on that show. So, fact or fan fiction?
All right. Am I going first, I guess?
Yeah, you go first. That's fine. That's fine.
Who talks first? You talk first? I talk first?
I love
that. No, I read that, and I actually, you sent it to me as the first time I'd heard of it. So I was like, oh, I didn't know this. Okay. So it was really cool to get that information from you. But I think it is fact. Full of Sith, they are a well-known podcast, and this came from Kevin Kiner himself. I just don't see how he's not a reliable source, especially since he's been scoring these Bad Batch episodes and writing the music and all this fun stuff. And he also did Clone Wars, as you mentioned, and Rebels. And you're right, the Rebels stuff is incredible. I wish that, I can't remember, I think it's Rebels that they haven't released all of the music for it yet.
Maybe
if I go back and look at it, I haven't done it in a minute, but man, the music on Rebels is great for a lot of reasons. It ties in Clone Wars prequels, not the sequels, but going forward, all those kinds of things. So and he's been a part of Star Wars since 2007, 2008. So I would think that someone like him would be privy to that kind of information. It makes sense to me. Yeah,
and I agree 1,000%. I believe this is fact. Now it is interesting, at least, why he would use that phrase, at least 14. So
yes.
Do we think it's on the money 14 episodes or more?
I did a little looking into that too. When you think about what Disney's been doing with Star Wars, especially for TV and Disney Plus, Mando, each season had 8 episodes. Clone Wars season 7, and I say that specifically because it is Disney produced. It's not the old ones. So the Disney produced Clone Wars season 7 has 12 episodes. And then also Rebels season 4 only had 15 episodes. Now season 1 had somewhere around 15 episodes, and seasons 2 and 3 were in the 20s. Right. But, given that the most recent season of Rebels and the most recent season of Clone Wars have been right in that gap, that 14 episodes, to me, that makes sense. I think that's a solid number.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And you totally did some great research on that, man. I was going to say just kind of guess in the ballpark, like 15 to 18, just kind of going off that vibe. But I'm excited about that number. I was kind of disappointed whenever the final season of the Clone Wars came around and it wasn't up to the double digits that. But regardless, it's very exciting to hear, especially since we're getting a 70-minute premiere.
That was the biggest piece of news to me. I mean, it's what is that? 70 minutes of just full on, basically Clone Wars. It's essentially Clone Wars. And even if it was shorter, I would still be excited. But the fact that it's that long, it's over an hour. I don't think any one of them ever was an hour, aside from the Clone Wars movie.
Right.
It's almost 2 hours.
Now, in the past, whenever they didn't have streaming, obviously when they did live television program, whenever the show would debut, would they typically, I don't know why I feel like they did this, but didn't they show 2 episodes, like usually on the premiere nights?
Are you talking about before? Talking about Clone Wars specifically?
Either Clone Wars or Rebels. I feel like somewhere it's happened at some point with at least a premiere or a season premiere.
I remember being in high school still, and Clone Wars was still coming out, and there were occasions when they would do like a 1 hour special, but it was 2
Yeah.
episodes. And
Yeah.
so
Okay.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah. So I don't know if Rebels ever did that. I was in college when Rebels was coming
True.
out.
Same.
So I didn't, sit down and watch Rebels until it was on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So, and just as a sidebar, it's become one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars since having watched it.
Dude. Yes.
But
So yes.
and I'm currently on like the last episode, and there's this part of me that's like, no, don't finish it yet, because you're gonna get up, you're gonna be a little teary eyed
Yeah.
at its ending, and because it's that good.
It
But
is that good.
but anyway, and as if I may segue, I think that segues into the next big rumor.
Do it, man. The
Okay.
next you want it. Take it,
If
man.
you want, I'll do it, man. Yeah, okay.
Take it, dude. Take
let
it.
me check out your notes. I've got them pulled up too.
Okay.
Okay. According to @DanielRPK on Twitter, here's the synopsis for the Ahsoka show. Ahsoka Tano is on the hunt for the evil Grand Admiral Thrawn in the hope it will help her locate Ezra Bridger, the young Jedi that disappeared from Thrawn many years ago. So we're going fact or fiction, right? I did the first one.
Correct.
You do this one.
Okay, I will take this one, the lead. I think this is fan fiction. Now, I say that with not a lot of knowledge about how reliable @DanielRPK is on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
to be completely fair. So maybe he's usually on the money. I just don't know that. But on the surface, so maybe you know a little bit more about that Twitter user. But on the surface, for me, I feel like it's just, at this point, us as Star Wars fans just kind of have this general sense of that has to be the synopsis, like at least that kind of plot line. Like it just makes sense, and anyone can put that sentence or two together to where it makes sense and seems official. I don't expect here in the next, I don't know, 6 months to 12 months, when they actually release the official synopsis, I do not expect it to say that word for word, especially now that this has apparently been leaked. So I'm going to stand on fan fiction.
Well, I'm going 100% opposite.
Okay.
I do think that it's fact. And I did just hop over to Twitter and check this guy's profile out. He has 100,000 followers. Now that doesn't mean anything, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't. I mean, he, as far as we know, as far as you and I know, he's not somebody that works for Lucasfilm or anything like that. So for me, I get where you're at, where it's like, okay, we have no idea if this is right, but I think, we talked about the ending of Rebels a second ago. We do see Ahsoka return, basically looking like Gandalf the White.
Yes.
And Filoni has said, Dave Filoni has said that that's kind of who he views Ahsoka as one of the higher wizards of Lord of the Rings, but in Star Wars. And that's a deep dive into some serious nerddom. But we actually, and I went a little further on my research for this one, because I had to know what Sabine says in that little monologue there at the end of that last episode. And I have the quote, I wrote it out because I had to have it. But Sabine Wren says, "As for me, I used to think Ezra was counting on me to protect Lothal, the planet and the people he cared for so much. But one day I realized there was more to it. There was something else I was meant to do." And then there's a slight pause. And then she says, "Ezra's out there somewhere, and it's time to bring him home." Now, the time period.
I just got chills while you read that, man.
Listen, I wish I could take credit. But when you think about it, we see Ahsoka come back for just that short snippet, and then we don't see her again chronologically until Mando's season 2, episode 5, I think it is. And so that sounds right. And so when she comes back, very clearly she's over there fighting Governor Wing, which I did not know was her actual name. I had to look that up too. That's what she's credited. That's her character's name, Governor Wing. So I went and checked that out. And she straight up says, "Where's your master? Where's Admiral Thrawn?" And that I've always felt was, especially since the December shareholders meeting, I felt that was the nugget to let everybody know this is where the Ahsoka show is going.
Yeah.
So for me, when I hear the Daniel PRK thing and saying, "Hey, you
Mhm.
know, this is the synopsis," to me, I think it's fact.
Okay. No, and I don't disagree at all that that's where that show's heading.
Yeah,
Like it's 1000%, and I'll be blown away, shocked if it's not uh
sure.
Ahsoka's journey of finding Thrawn because she obviously wants to get to Ezra.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I just feel like it's one of those things where, I mean, I could put a sentence together
Hmm.
and make it sound good
Sure.
and say
Yeah.
it's the official synopsis, and it might
Absolutely.
be exact. So I guess I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but I don't. I mean, I wouldn't be against that being the synopsis at
No,
all.
I mean, I
At
don't think
all.
anybody would, but you're right. I mean, anybody could string those words together. I could have
Mhm.
done that and it wouldn't have taken off anywhere,
No.
But I think for a guy like this Daniel guy who has such a big following,
Yeah.
I was scrolling through his tweets looking at other stuff, and some of it was just like, this is outlandish, but other stuff was like, okay, well, maybe.
Yeah.
And, and I think the Ahsoka thing kind of falls in
Okay.
that maybe category.
All right. Well, I'll just open this up to our listeners. If you're on YouTube, you let us know since we're not on the same page, I guess, currently. Comment on our YouTube video. Say if you think the Ahsoka synopsis that's floating around there, if you think it's fact or fan fiction, let us know what you think. Now, we will go to the last Twitter rumor that was going around here in the middle of the week. According to Cinelinx, Din Djarin will make an appearance in the book of Boba Fett. Now you get to go first. Fact
Okay.
or fan fiction?
I think it's fiction. I really do think it's fiction because we've already had 2 seasons of TV dedicated to Din Djarin. We've had the Mandalorian moments
Yeah.
and Boba Fett and even Fennec Shand and Ahsoka and Bo-Katan, all of them coming in to that second season. I really think that is setting some other things up for both Mandalorian and Boba.
Mm.
If Din Djarin is even in the Book of Boba Fett, it's for a minute. I mean, it's
Mm.
not long. I really don't think it's going to be a very long time. And here's really the big reason why. I think that they want the Boba Fett story to be told. I
Yeah.
think that that's what they want to get out there. And since the story of Din Djarin is being told and will continue to be told for at least, I don't know if a season 4 was ever confirmed or not. I can't remember, but at least one more season.
I feel like Giancarlo Esposito's talked about it for sure in an interview.
Yes,
So
that's where I remember hearing it.
yeah.
So I'm thinking there's things like that. And, we've got Fennec Shand coming into Bad Batch here in just a few weeks. And that, I think, will have some setups to Book of Boba Fett. Whether they're minor or major, I couldn't say. But I would be
Yeah.
willing to bet that that's going to connect over there somehow.
Okay. No, and I don't disagree with anything you've said, but you know what? Let's just keep this interesting. I'm gonna say that it's fact.
I should have seen it coming. Should have known.
Now, here's my take though. You know how in The Mandalorian we think that the season's over and we get that shot on Tatooine.
Yes.
That's what I expect. I expect Din Djarin an end credit scene. I think Favreau's incorporating his Marvel tendencies there. I think he's having
Mm-hmm.
fun with it. I think we see an end credit scene to tease season 3 of The Mandalorian, and that's where Din Djarin makes his appearance, and nothing outside of that.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
And when I read it, I was thinking he's not going to be a part of the story. He doesn't need. But you're right. I mean, a little like, hey, here's where we're going with Mandalorian. That makes all the sense in the world to me.
Yeah, I think it'll just be like exactly like it was in season 2 with Boba showing up, finally taking the throne on Tatooine at Jabba's palace.
That's still ridiculous to me that they did that. And I don't know if you saw it. I have to know real quick before we move on. When you finished that episode and the credits rolled,
mm-hmm.
and the like who played what and who did what, did you notice Bib Fortuna in the credits before he actually showed up?
No, I did not.
Dude, I did that. I mean, I was half awake, if even, but I remember seeing it. It said Bib Fortuna, played by Matthew Wood, and I was like, where was Bib Fortuna in this episode?
Yeah.
And I kept watching. I was like, that's not right. And my brain didn't say rewind. It said, just hold on. I don't know why, because I wasn't ready for an end credit scene, but then he showed up, and I was like, "This is
Yeah.
ridiculous."
No, I didn't catch that. That's a good catch. I feel like if I had seen that, I probably would have paused it and spent so much time trying to
Yeah,
find him to where I never
yeah,
saw the end credit scene.
yeah.
But I, unfortunately, before I could watch the finale, that I was told to stick around.
Oh
So that kind of took that moment away from me. Or I wasn't necessarily
man,
told by anybody. I just saw it on Twitter. You
hey,
you play the dangerous
yeah,
game by getting on Twitter late at night. I shouldn't even blame anybody except myself. Uh,
yep. I mean, that's
so
what I would do in the mornings. I'd get up and like, don't even look at your phone. Go to the TV and go.
yeah,
I'd go watch it real early in the morning
yeah.
and go from there.
hmm
I just
I
had to know. I just had to
no
know.
no, and I having that discussion. I can't wait for the book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian to make a
Oh yeah,
comeback. It's gonna be great.
it's
Now,
all. It's just all the Star Wars.
yeah. Now this online frenzy though that popped up. Obi-Wan
Yeah.
Kenobi is just all over the place all of a sudden. And
Oh,
we
isn't it
we
great?
love to see it, dude. We love to see
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
The first thing that popped up that I saw at least was this set video on TikTok going around.
Yeah.
Somebody, I guess, driving in a car, maybe it's a Razor or Gator, whatever.
It looked like a golf cart to
Yeah,
me.
golf cart,
Yeah.
yeah, around the
Yeah.
set. Um, Somebody's just taking videos of the set and just throwing it out there now.
I couldn't believe it. And if it wasn't a publicity stunt, whoever that dude who took that video is 100% fired.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
if it wasn't a publicity stunt, it very well could be because,
hmm
like you said, the internet's decided all of a sudden let's focus on just Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Yeah,
and I'm okay with it because it's Obi-Wan. You know,
right.
nothing wrong with it. But yeah, whoever put that out there was a bold one, as
Yeah.
Grievous might say. So,
Did
but
you
I
spot
think
anything in that video?
nothing that just immediately, like I watched it 2 or 3 times
Same.
the other day, just trying to say, okay, does anything look familiar? And there, to me, there's really, we now have a third town that Mandalorian season 2 gave us.
hmm
That I guess you could say it's a possibility that it's that town, but I don't think I don't think it's. I don't even remember that Moss, whatever it
Espa,
was, Pelgo, was it
Pel,
Pelgo?
Pelgo, I think.
Okay, so Moss, whatever, is where
Yeah.
Cobb Vanth was. I
Uh-huh.
don't think it's that town. I think we're going to get Moss Eisley or Moss Espa. Moss Espa, maybe because it was in Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Moss Eisley seems more likely to me because we need, I think, I don't know if we need it, but it'd be really cool if we got this, like, okay, why does Obi-Wan know that Moss Eisley is a wretched hive of scum and villainy? So if
Yeah.
anything to me, I think it's kind of, that.
I think so. That was my big takeaway as well. I just didn't. I wanted to make sure you possibly didn't see something or did see something that I didn't.
Yeah.
So I wanted
I
to get
mean,
that out there if you did see that.
other than just like architecture and
Cool stuff.
like a door, I was like, that door looks familiar, but I mean, the set dressers haven't come in yet, and it clearly is only the bones,
Mhm.
of the structures. So I mean, it's going to be a little while if it's not already there, because I mean, they're starting to shoot here pretty soon if
I
they
think
haven't
so.
already begun.
Within the week or weeks,
Yeah.
it's right
So
there.
yeah. So with all that being said, I think there was nothing that was just right there in my face, but I was still like, okay, we get to go back to Tatooine. I was like,
Yeah.
that's cool. I'm okay with that.
That's like the sandbox as a Star Wars fan. You
Yeah.
have your action figures, no
Mhm.
matter if they never went to Tatooine in the
Yep.
movies, you played with all your action figures on Tatooine. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's just the place
Yeah.
to be.
Absolutely.
But now that's not the only Obi-Wan Kenobi frenzy out there.
Yeah.
This was a special request from you, so I really want to hear what you got to say about this. Now, I am obviously mine's not as impressive as yours. I love beards.
Hey.
Don't get me wrong.
Hey.
Ewan
Yeah.
McGregor, though, as Obi-Wan Kenobi, the beard is like no one can get close to that, man.
I have beard. I call it beard envy. Like when you see, and I don't know where I got that. I heard it somewhere once, but when you look at Ewan and you see he's got even more beard than he did as Kenobi in 2005.
It's full, man.
It's a full on beard. I feel like we need to start a new campaign, hashtag, what do you want to call it? It's just return of the beard. Just
Let's
hashtag
do
return of
it.
the beard.
Let's do it.
And like you said, I'm a fan of beards. I do get beard envy from time to time. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I remember being at a baseball game as a kid, back when the Astros didn't cheat. And I was living near Houston. My dad took me to a game, and we always had this tradition where we walk around the stadium. And now, granted, this guy didn't have a beard, but this man had a mustache out to here. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like, I want that mustache.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those like things. I mean, it sounds funny, it sounds weird, but I mean, beard envy's real, and I envy Ewan McGregor's Kenobi beard.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Now, I'm excited. Kenobi. I would say honestly, it's probably the top for me, personally, right now. Because again,
Yeah,
it's all over the internet because of these two really silly things, but
I
I feel
know.
like it's happening on purpose, kind of like you mentioned,
Yeah.
because people are talking about it, and I hope we don't have to wait too long because I'm getting very anxious for it.
Yeah, I think that the premiere for it is like a year from this month. If I don't remember what I saw, I
Oh,
swear I
okay.
saw it like April 2022 is what I saw
Oh,
somewhere. But
okay. I haven't seen that.
there's so many announcements about all these upcoming projects.
I
Like
know.
even today, they announced the release date of Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah, I saw
And
that, baby. I'm
that's a
excited.
whole nother thing. And I was like, oh, okay, a year. Okay, we got about a year. Okay, that's cool. And I got excited, and then I had to like, okay, calm down. No one really cares as much as you do. So, um, but at the same time, there's so many announcements that keep coming up about different projects. I never know what's coming next. I have to
Yeah.
like go Google it, what's next, and go from there. But yeah, I'm right there with you. It's up there at the top of my list. And, it's probably for me. I have it. I'm anticipating it more than probably Book of Boba Fett or Mando season 3. Definitely more than Bad Batch.
Hmm.
As much as a Clone Wars fan as I think I am,
Yeah.
I've got Kenobi way up there on the list for me.
Absolutely. 1000% agree. Now, all of you listening out there, let us know what you think about all these Twitter rumors, online frenzy. I love to see it. I know some people get carried away with it and get too attached to these rumors and think it's just absolute fact. And if it doesn't happen, we're mad. But I just enjoy the fun. I mean, it's great to see people active on social medias
Yeah.
talking about Star Wars the way that they are. So I love to see it. And I
Oh
can't
yeah.
wait to see more.